This is our 1941 Ford 9N tractor, and we chose to buy this for the purpose of running a bush hog and possibly in the future running a finish mower, and probably we'll get a scrape blade or a box blade, something for doing driveway maintenance. And then we also will use it for moving trailers around with the trailer hitch and just different utility type functions. I do think if we get a big enough garden going, we'd probably get some cultivators to put on the back here and use it for helping with a garden. So this was a non-running tractor when we picked it up. Got a good deal on it because of that, but I had spent a lot of time doing research on these, knowing what the issues were to look for, and when I went to evaluate it, I had determined the issues that it had, even though it was non-running, so that I could have an easier time getting it going once I did decide to buy it and bring it home. So some of the things we've had to do, we'll work on the distributor system down there. That the brown piece is the distributor cap. Above it is a coil pack, and there's a distributor in there. And we had to replace the points and condenser for the ignition system. We also had to add this resistor block that was missing, and that had caused the previous set of points to burn up that were in there. And without that resistor, it puts too much voltage through the points, and so adding that will preserve in the future to help those points last a good long time. Also replaced the starter. It has been converted to a 12-volt system, and it has the chassis ground negative, which is really nice because the components for the charging system will be a lot easier to source than the original. We did have to replace the water pump, and that is right there where the belt is, and that radiator hose hooks to it. The water pump was not leaking when I went to look at the tractor, but by the time we had tried to start it enough times, the shaft spinning caused the seal to go bad because it had been sitting. Now there are a couple other things that I've looked at on here. I did take the top half of the lift off, the cover of the transmission where the lift ram is, and had to repair the bell crank shaft on the draft control lever because it had worn very badly. And so we tightened that up, took it all apart, and I actually welded some material where the wear was. Got it smoothed back out so that it is tight the way it should be. The next thing that I need to do is drop the bottom pan out of the transmission. When I was inside there, I noticed that there was a lot of residue and goo and gunk in the bottom of that transmission from years of old oil being broken down. And so I'm going to drop that pan down and take the pump out and get all that cleaned up to make sure that my valves don't get clogged up. And then the charging system, it's got a GM style one-wire alternator, and that has a tendency to run the battery dead when you're not operating the tractor. When the key is off, it puts a parasitic load on the battery. So I'm going to put a diode in there, or add a solenoid to disconnect that circuit between the battery and the alternator when the tractor is not in use. Another thing that's very cool about this tractor is for a 9N, it's got this optional shift lever here, and somebody has added what's called a Sherman transmission, and that gives you a lot more gear selection. This was originally a 3-speed, and with that Sherman transmission it makes it a 6-speed. And it gives you more working gears and a taller road gear for going down the road with your implements in tow. So very cool. We're very excited about it. I think that it'll serve us well. We'll be able to take good care of it. And the nice thing about these old tractors like this, there's so many of them out there. You wouldn't think that there'd be parts readily available for something that's 80 years old, but there are tons of parts available for this. So I think everything I've bought so far adds up to less than $150. I did take the carburetor off and took it all apart and cleaned it up good. There was a little bit of corrosion in there, and we got that cleaned out. So the tractor starts and runs reliably. Just got a few more TLC things to do to it, and we'll be ready to hook the bush hog up and see what it can do.